What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Yes, because of the weather we're having here in SoCal, my face is all messed up, but put some hydrocortisone on it. Should be good within an hour, but just want to get this video over and done with because there's a lot of good stuff that actually happened to my teams this weekend, and this will be kind of like a distraction for you, kind of highs to double chin as well. So let's get into it. So Ishmael Sopsher, he was a top, you would think he was like the #1 defensive tackle coming out of high school a couple years ago, but he had committed to Alabama. So of course he thought he was going to be great, but I guess he's not getting enough playing time, so he decided to enter the transfer portal, and luckily for USC, he has decided to choose USC, so he will be on the team as of next year and hopefully playing. I don't think they'll make him sit out like they have in past years, so it'll be awesome to add a guy that highly talented, especially on USC's team, who's going to be losing at least a couple guys right there to the draft and graduation, so definitely happy about that. But then an even more reason to be happy about USC after Saturday was, as I mentioned the past couple of videos, that it was the big time crosstown rivalry, as they call it, USC UCLA. And going into it, I was kind of okay. I felt USC could win. I just knew that UCLA had nothing to play for really, and was gonna come and give them everything that they could, and of course they did, because as I was watching, it was 14-0 UCLA. So of course, every single time, whether it was the first game ASU or even the next game Arizona State, I just ended up not finishing watching the games, at least until like the late fourth quarter, because I felt I was the bad luck. So luckily, at least all three of those occasions, it has worked out, and USC has pulled out the victory. Yes, they did get the W. I believe it was 43-38, something like that. Pretty crazy ending, just because USC had intercepted the ball and went down, but was only able to get the field goal to get up a couple of points, and then UCLA had the opportunity to go down and do the same exact thing and left USC with under a minute to go. But luckily, the freshman wide receiver had a nice return past the 50-yard line. He's from out here in SoCal where I live, so that was great to see him get that opportunity and show out for them. And they just did a couple of pass plays. One pass play just was freaking crazy to Tyler Vaughn's down the sideline in between two defenders. I don't know how he caught that, but he's one of the better talented guys in my opinion, even though, you know, athletically he isn't. And then there was a check down play. They're supposed to just do a regular run play because they're only down by 2 points. They just needed a field goal to win. And Keaton Slovis, the young quarterback, saw man-to-man. And I guess their philosophy at USC in that offense, if you see that, then you have to throw the ball, especially when you got talented guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that's exactly what he did. You saw in those highlights. And it was a perfect pass because they always practice that play. That's like a staple USC pass play. It's like I saw Matt Barkley, Mark Sanchez. They all learned how to do that as well. So it's great to see. Definitely sorry for a couple of my family members that are UCLA fans, but we got you this time, and hopefully it can continue. It should continue because of the talent USC gets, but it is a rivalry, so anything can happen. Just like Duke, North Carolina. You know, it's always back and forth, but definitely glad USC was able to pull this one out, and because of that, they get to play this Friday once again on a short week against Washington, who is technically the leader of the Pac-12 North in that division. But if some things go wrong, because Washington has had trouble up there with their COVID stuff, then the second team that USC would play is actually Oregon, which is the tougher team and the team that everyone thought was going to be that final Pac-12 title game. But I just think it sucks that USC has to prepare technically for two teams depending on their situation, and the other teams only have to prepare for one. And yeah, I just think it's a bad hand they're being dealt. They should just name them the Pac-12 champion already, but they want to play. That's what the coaches and the players keep saying right now. They want to play no matter who it is, to prove that they are undefeated for a reason and deserve at least an outside chance at getting into the Final Four teams, which I don't think is going to happen, but I mean, you never know. They could give USC the benefit of the doubt, or at least play in one of like the Fiesta Bowls, something, the higher New York 6 New Year's Six or whatever the hell they call it, because they can't play in the Rose Bowl this year because it's part of the Final Four, which sucks, but they will at least get to play a top SEC team to really prove the record, which will be pretty cool in January. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But speaking of the Chargers, they said that their Aaron Jones, the really good running back of the Packers, who will be a free agent after this year, the Chargers are actually a top landing spot according to this article I saw, which is cool. I mean, he is a top running back, and they already re-signed a guy to be their top, but Eckler kind of really isn't the top guy, or isn't a top guy. But to get a guy like Aaron Jones, they will have to spend a lot of money, but that's why you take a chance on a rookie quarterback like Herbert, so you can do this like how Seattle did with Russell Wilson. While on his rookie deal, they re-signed a lot of the top defensive guys and got special offensive players around him, especially offensive linemen, and they went to 2 championships and won at least one of them. So, I mean, we'll see what the Chargers can do. Definitely starts with the draft, which, in my opinion, they're never really good at, and they have to make a situation with their head coach and GM as well. But we'll just wait and see. It should be very, very interesting coming to the end stretch here. I'll get into what the Chargers did later in this video, but yes. Reese Waters, he's a shooting guard who signed with USC. He's still in high school technically, and he will be coming in the 2021 season, but because of all this situation, he was able to graduate quickly. So now he's actually able to get on campus in January and participate with the team, and it's not going to count towards his freshman year, which is great, because in case there's injuries or COVID related issues, and they have an extra player now for USC basketball, which is pretty cool. But sadly, yes, I was looking forward to their first Pac-12 game against Stanford on Sunday night, but apparently I think one player or one person in the organization of USC tested positive for COVID, so they had to postpone the game, which sucks. I don't know when they'll be 100% ready. I think they only canceled it because they have to, look back and retrace, and hopefully it doesn't spread. And if it doesn't, then I'm assuming they'll play their next game coming up, but I don't know if that's going to be pushed back as well. We'll wait for the news, but yeah, I'll update you whether you care or not. To finish today's video, yes, the Chargers got the 20-17 victory off a game-winning field goal by Michael Badgley. Yes, it was really crazy back and forth final, like 2 to 3 minutes. It seemed like either team was going to end up breaking that tie and going up by a field goal, but quarterbacks threw interceptions, and it was pretty crazy to see, and like a crazy roller coaster. But yes, Justin Herbert actually did impress me, making a couple of great passes down the field in that final minute, setting them up for a field goal. And yeah, and of course now this week it's special teams redeeming itself, especially that I'm sure Anthony Lynn, the head coach, is patting himself on the back because he had to take control of that side, and of course they ended up getting the game winner. But yeah, it was cool to see. I mean, Keenan Allen went off. I think he had, like, in his career so far in the first 100 games, he has like 623 catches, which I think is the most ever in that span of the first 100 games. And he was leading the league in receptions until Sunday night game when Stephon Diggs went over 100. But I think Keenan Allen this year is right at 99, which is pretty crazy. So he's having a great year, even though he's been with a rookie quarterback. So really awesome from him, and he's on my fantasy team, so I'm not mad about it either. And yeah, overall it was still good. I mean, the only reason why I was upset is because I thought it would affect their draft seeding and all that stuff, but luckily as of right now, and even Baltimore and Cleveland, it doesn't matter because they're way more in the playoff chase. That as of right now, updated wise for the draft, they're still picking number 5, which is pretty crazy to me because they're now tied with the team they beat yesterday. But for some reason, that the Falcons actually went higher into the draft instead of like getting a better pick. So overall, I think it's worked out great so far for my teams this weekend. If it could only be like that so often. So yeah, definitely happy about that. Great to see them get that victory under the belt, and we'll see what they can do with the Raiders this Thursday. Should be very fun and interesting. And yes, I did mention that the Lakers have their preseason game last Friday against the Clippers, and both Anthony Davis and LeBron weren't playing. Same thing went for Sunday night. They were playing the same team, the Clippers, and Anthony Davis, LeBron did not play as well, but Lakers were able to get that first victory on Friday, like 87-81, I believe. Kind of a close game, but then they played on Sunday night, and Lakers blew them out. They won pretty handily, even without their two main stars. They're doing really good from the three-point line, and Talen Horton-Tucker, the second-year player out of Iowa State, I think he had like 33 points. He did pretty well, even in that first game too. But this game he just went off, and people are going crazy saying, "Oh yeah, you have to start him." Even the coach is like, "Yeah, I have to start him now." But I think it's a lot of lip service, just because they kind of want him to be on people's like trade targets, and maybe they can now pair him up with a Kyle Kuzma in a trade and not have to give up much to try to get a player that they want. So. And the reason why his numbers are inflated like this is because he's getting time to actually play more. If LeBron and AD were out there, he'd probably not even get half of these points. So, yeah, I just don't expect him to contribute that much unless there's injuries, which I hope there isn't. But, yeah, good luck, good to him, but I think it's more of a trading piece in my opinion, which it's all good if you can get a guy like a Trevor Ariza from OKC. I'm cool with that. And then Disney kind of made their big announcement saying a bunch of shows that are coming out, and because it's kind of related to sports and something I like, they're actually bringing back the Mighty Ducks, but in like a TV series on Disney Plus, which I think we've heard about this a while back. Like they were gonna make a girl the center part, like a Charlie Conway and all that stuff. But in the preview that they actually had Coach Bombay, Emilio Estevez in there, which was pretty crazy to me. I didn't think he'd ever come back, and definitely very excited for that. Hopefully that'll be awesome and coming out in 2021, hopefully. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Right on.